White lines up as the single setback. Couch, pumping, looks backside, underneath. It's caught. Morgan with the catch at the 10. And he did a tremendous job to hang on to the football. Gets the first down, clock still running.
Now just spike the ball. Don't even waste the play. Or maybe they're even calling a play.
And he spikes it. And the clock stops with 48 seconds remaining.
And I'm just wondering if that was going to be one of those fake spike
I
thieves.
thought he was going to do that.
It looked like
a
it.
la Peyton Manning earlier this year against New Orleans.
And you know what? What the Jags are saying, when his arm came forward, you actually have one chance to spike it. They're saying that that's a fumble. Or, you know what? They're not a fumble. I'm sorry, Gus. They're saying that it's intentional grounding because he wasn't out of the pocket. So you have that initial chance to go ahead and spike it, but he faked it. And at that point, when he throws it into the ground, it becomes intentional grounding because you're not outside the pocket. Look at it. See the fake right there? He did it the second time. So he wasn't throwing it to anybody. So what they're discussing is, should that be intentional grounding?
Should it?
Yes. I believe the way the rule is written, that's exactly what it is.
So this is what we've been told. That the replay officials on the previous play, the fourth down play, they tried to buzz the referees on the field, and they wanted the ref to take a look at where the ball was on the Quincy Morgan reception to review it.
Replay buzzed prior to the snap. We'll be looking to see if the last pass was incomplete or complete.
That's the fourth down reception by Quincy Morgan.
So so they actually overruled that last play, and they're trying to see if this is a catch or not. And you see it sliding out from Quincy Morgan, and boy, that ball didn't necessarily stay in the grasp of Quincy Morgan. It looked like he was trying to pull it up. And so forget the potential grounding call, which I thought the Jags were going after originally. They were saying Quincy Morgan was juggling that ball. And I actually think he was. You have to have, Gus, you have to have possession and 2 feet down. And if that ball's gonna hit the ground, you're gonna have to maintain possession. That ball can't be sliding around. And Gus.
But what Butch Davis is going to argue is that it's too late. It's too late because another play had already been run. And how can you go back 2 plays?
And I guess there was a malfunction in the system. That's what they said. They were buzzing down, trying to get the replay. I didn't see the red flag come out from the Jag sideline.
Butch Davis is going to argue this until he's blue in the face.
And Gus, you know, you can't challenge in the last 2 minutes, but you can clearly get the ref's attention by jumping up and down and throwing that flag. I want to go back and see if Quincy Morgan had that ball and had 2 feet down. It was very close because the 2 feet only count once you have possession. And you can see the ball sliding down his leg right there. Now he got 2 feet down, but did he have possession of the ball when he got the 2 feet down? Is that, see, you can, there's holding onto his leg, and it looked like he still had it there, and then it was coming out.
Wow.
And so
this is a mess.
I think the way that the rule states is that it goes back to what was called on the field. They called it a completion. So it's got to be irrefutable evidence to overturn it. And they ran another play, which I've never seen happen in this.
After review, the pass is incomplete. First down, Jacksonville.
So they say he was juggling the ball. And what Butch Davis is saying right now is we ran another play. And like I said, in the history of replay, Gus, once another play has been run, I have never seen them go back and say we're replaying another play. And I mean, this is serious stuff here in Cleveland. This is a playoff spot potentially on the line.
And it's getting ugly here in Cleveland.
And it's getting ugly here fast.
So Jacksonville will take the football back at the 10-yard line. Because of this, they say this is an incomplete pass.
Boy, I don't know. He had those 2 feet down. Then you see the ball coming out.
But what the fans are upset with is the Browns were able to get to the line of scrimmage and run another play. But then the officials went back 2 plays and made the ruling. They said that there was a malfunction with the communication system between the replay officials in the booth and the officials on the field.
And we had...
And here was the play. They snapped it before the referees or the officials were able to stop the game.
And we were talking about the potential grounding call, but the Jags were talking about the play prior.
And the rules are pretty specific. Once another play is run, it can't be reviewed.
And so they were talking about the malfunction in the system. That's what the replay booth has called and told us. But we don't make the rules.
And bottles have been thrown on the field.
And that's one thing that we haven't had since replay has come back. We haven't had that situation, Gus, where another play has been run and we've gone back.
Fortunately, those bottles are plastic. But these Cleveland fans are irate. And they're trying to clear the end zone.
Yeah, well, the Cleveland fans aren't helping any right now by throwing stuff on the field. They got to know better than that. And it's frustrating. The players are frustrating as well. And the players are sitting on the sideline looking around dazed, trying to figure out how this happened. And we've just
Butch Davis still arguing his case.
And we've just never seen that. Once the play is run, it's all over. And you see teams before try to get up to the line of scrimmage and run another play so they can get beyond the review if they feel it's going to go against them.
So,
well, what the officials need to do is they need to get on the PA and get control of this game and get control of the fans. They're letting it get out of control because they're not communicating what's going on. Take some control down there and get this situation going. Let us know why and what happened. Talk about the other play being run off, because that is an unusual situation. You've got to let everybody know why this is happening, because just like up here in the booth, nobody has any idea what's going on because they're not telling us.
the Browns came into this game with 6 wins, hoping to keep their playoff hopes alive, needing a win today over Jacksonville.
Well, the one thing you got to do if you're the officials right now, if the ball is indeed Jacksonville, then just call the game and get these guys off the field. It's not worth somebody getting hurt. If the fans are going to throw crap on the field, take control and get the players off the field, because this is ridiculous. Just get rid of the...
So let's take a look back. Tim Couch. Here he is. Watch the referee in the left part of the frame. And that referee is not blowing anything dead until after the ball was spiked. And now they're going to call the game.
That is the end of the game.
Unbelievable. Now they call the game.
Well, that was the right call.
48 seconds to go.
Yeah, you got to take the
I think this has been Just a fiasco by the referees today.
Well, that was the right call. You got to end the game. But the fans are throwing crap on the field.
Especially when you consider how big of a game this was for the Cleveland Browns. This is ridiculous.
Well, I'll be anxious to hear the official explanation of the way that replay situation came down, because once another play is run, you can't go back.
And these officials really need to get off the field.
And you know what? The fans got to stop throwing crap. We just saw a guy get hit in the head and he's down, split his head wide open. The fans have got to control themselves. People are getting hurt. It's ridiculous. You're only hurting yourselves by throwing stuff on the field.
And the officials are pummeled as they head into the locker room, and Butch Davis is speechless. He doesn't know what to say or what to do. So let's go back. Here was the 4th down catch by Quincy Morgan, or non-catch.
And they ruled it a catch on the field. So remember, Gus, it has to be irrefutable evidence to overturn it. I don't know if it's irrefutable evidence to overturn it, and they run the next play. There's the referees. They let their next play run. Nobody's blowing a whistle. Nobody's doing anything. Now this official's going to wave off the play. Incomplete after
the ball had been spiked.
Well, miscommunication and a problem with the replay system
may have cost the Cleveland Browns a chance to go to the playoffs.
You've got to communicate and let everybody know what's going on.
So the game stopped with 48 seconds left on a call that I'm sure will be talked about in Cleveland for probably the next 6 months. 15-10 the final score. And there's the scene.
And the fans are just littering the field. And a fella right in front of us, Gus, got hit in the head with looked like a radio and just split his head wide open, and he's down. And the fans have to be smarter than that.
Once again, here's the 4th down play. Quincy Morgan.
Now it looked to me like he had possession. Now you got to have 2 steps. And that ball was sliding, but did he have it pressed up against his leg?
How about the snap after? How about the snap? Do we have any kind of clarification?
And there's Tim Couch on the next play, spiking the ball. So another play was run after the Quincy Morgan's catch had already been ruled a complete pass and a 1st down. No mention of trying to go back and look at the replay during those 30 to 40
seconds. So the referees
seconds.
are claiming, this is what the referees are claiming from replay, is that they were saying they were blowing the ball dead as the ball was being snapped. And from what we've seen on our replays, that's inaccurate. So what an ending. Jacksonville wins 15-10. A controversial ending here in Cleveland. Coming up next, it's the Subway postgame show. They're going to talk about this for a long time to come. You've been watching the National Football League.
Final end, Jacksonville and Cleveland. There's a big story at the end of this game here. The fans there in Cleveland. Very disturbing scene as the Jags win it today, even though they committed 3 turnovers and were sacked 8 times. This is Henry running it back 97 yards for a touchdown.
And you got to talk about Stacey Mack in this game for Jacksonville. He rushed for 115 yards. Here's the throw by Couch, and that's the play. Did he have possession? He did not have possession, but Cleveland came back and got a playoff before they reviewed it. And so the fans didn't like, he does not have possession. That ball is out.
Well, they got but they got right on the line of scrimmage and ran a spike play.
That's right.
And by rule, it says if you get a play off, then it's dead.
Look at this right here. I mean, beer bottles all over the field. And they called the game, you see right there, with 48 seconds to go. And this is just a disgraceful scene in Cleveland as the officials are showered with bottles. And now we're hearing an update here in Cleveland. Gus Johnson was calling the game, and I believe they may be bringing the teams back out. This is like last year's Miami at New England game. Let's go to Gus Johnson out there at Cleveland. Gus?
All right, Jim, a wild sequence of events have taken place. Both teams went into the locker room. The officials went into the locker room as well. And from what we understand, Commissioner Paul Tagliabue called the officials in the locker room and has said that this game must be completed with 48 seconds remaining. And the score 15-10. So let's take a look at actually what happened. The entire controversy, it was a 4th down. Quincy Morgan trying to make a catch from Tim Couch. And let's take a look.
Quincy Morgan's going to come underneath. Has to have possession. That means possession of the ball and 2 feet down. And the Browns get up to the line of scrimmage here and run a spike play. Tim Couch. And once you run another play, you can't go back and replay.
And listen for the whistle. Clearly after the ball had been spiked. And then the official, the referee, then looked down at his buzzer. And I believe that's when he was notified by the replay official in the booth saying that the 4th down play should be reviewed. But the controversy comes in. The play had already been downed, and whether or not they can go back 2 plays to review a play.
And you can't. Once another play is run, you can't do that. And you know what? There was no whistle blown between Quincy Morgan catching the ball and getting the 1st down and the next play. It was very obvious. You could hear the audio. There was no whistle.
So most of the fans already on their way home. But some still here at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Just a wild sequence. This is what they wanted to review. Once again, Quincy Morgan, was it a catch or was it not a catch?
And you see the ball sliding down his leg. He had 1 foot down with maybe possession. Getting that 2nd foot down, that ball was sliding even further down his leg. So they ruled that that indeed was not a catch. The problem coming from the fact that they went ahead and ran the next play. You see Tim Couch right there spiking the ball and going ahead and stopping the clock. Here's a referee saying incomplete pass. There was no whistle, nothing prior to the play, and nothing prior to the snap. So another play had been run, and therefore you can't go back 2 plays to review a play.
Now watch the referee after he rules it an incomplete play. Now watch him go to his hip. You don't see it on that angle. You saw it on the other angle. Do the other angle. Now watch this angle. You should be able to see it. After it's ruled an incompletion. First, the 1st down. The controversial catch or non-catch.
And you see him marking the ball right there. They're not reviewing it. They're not blowing it incomplete. So the call on the field was it's a catch. It's a 1st down. They're marking it. None of the officials are blowing the whistle. Nobody.
And keep your eye on the referee.
And that was the first time you blew the whistle. And Gus, you were right. You checked his buzzer right after he blew the spike play incomplete. And so many different things going on. Actually, the spike play was the 2nd motion down. Tom Coughlin was arguing the fact that it was intentional grounding on the spike play.
And he's going to his buzzer after the play.
So another play had been run, and they were trying to go back and replay, although it's too late at that point.
The Browns should still have the football. And right now, we don't know who will have the football. With 48 seconds to go, the officials called the game because the fans had started to throw bottles and cans, and one gentleman sitting in front of us was hit in the head with a Walkman or a CD player. So it's an ugly scene here in Cleveland. So here in Cleveland, we still are up in the air. In the meantime, let's go to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, we've got it over at 1 point.
Well, they can't call it. Well, they can't review a play that's already been a play run after.
All right, back at Cleveland Browns Stadium, 15-10 is the score, and both teams are back onto the field, or both one offense and one defense. The Jacksonville Jaguars have the football. The Cleveland defense back on, and this is what happened while you guys were away, Cleveland came back onto the field, stayed for about 10 minutes, then left, came back on, and then Jacksonville followed him up. And according to our reports, the game was officially called with 48 seconds remaining because of the fans throwing bottles and cans onto the field. However, when the officials got back in their locker room, according to our reports, Commissioner Paul Tagliabue called and said that the game had to be finished. So let's take a look at what happened. It was a 4th down. Quincy Morgan made a catch. Then the Browns got back to the line of scrimmage. Here it is. Here is the catch or the non-catch.
No,
you make the call.
It was ruled a catch on the field, Gus, at the time. You see the referee spotting the ball, side judge out here. They're spotting the ball. It's a 1st down.
And then Tim Couch gets to the line of scrimmage. And the whistle blows.
We on the air? Take mix minus out of my ear. Take mix minus out of my ear.
So with 48 seconds to play, the officials are still trying to sort things out. Jacksonville keeps the ball. No timeouts remaining for either team. And now the Jaguars huddle up. And they will take a knee for 2 plays.
And I'm sure it's not going to be pretty at the end of the game. Once again here, both teams running off the field.
So one more play remaining. The Cleveland Browns, 6 wins on the season. This is their final home game of the year. Their last 3 games will be played on the road, and that should do it. Now both teams head into the locker room, and this one will officially be over. And the Cleveland Browns fall to 6 up and 7 down as Tom Coughlin and Butch Davis shake hands at the center of the field. So an ugly scene here in Cleveland. Wild sequence of events. The officials will be criticized and scrutinized the entire week. And I don't believe we still, even after all this, we still don't know if the ruling was accurate or not. Nor have we gotten any kind of confirmation from the officials or anybody. So once again, the first ruling was this a catch or wasn't it?
And at the time on the field, they ruled it was a catch. Possession in 2 feet. After looking at the replay, it looks like Quincy Morgan was still juggling the ball. It was actually sliding down his leg.
But then this play ran off, and keep your eye at the top left of your screen. Couch spikes it. It's ruled an incomplete pass by the official right there. And later he would go to the buzzer on his hip, which was a signal from the replay booth up top. So the final from Cleveland, 15-10, Jacksonville beats the Browns on a wild day here in Cleveland.
Gus, I tell you, what a tough way to go out of the playoff.
I've never seen anything like this.
Never have. All these years with replay, once another play has been run off, we've never seen a crew go back and replay a play before that.
So 15-10, the final. The Jaguars have defeated the Browns. Wild day here, Jim Nance. Let's go to New York.